Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the United Center here on the penultimate day of the Big Ten tournament here in Chicago. My name is Nick Hornberg, and joining me for the first half, Daniel Thompson, Nate Sorensen, and Lucas Vargas will carry the second half as we see the second semifinal matchup of the day, the Michigan Wolverines versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Of course, just off the Michigan beating Iowa by more than 20 points last night, the final game, and in the penultimate game yesterday, Minnesota upset second-seeded Purdue, and the winner of this game will earn the right to play Michigan State, fresh off a victory over Wisconsin less than an hour ago in the Big Ten tournament title game.
It's a good day to wear green here. St. Patrick's Day is officially tomorrow, but people are trying to get their weekend celebrations on early. The St. Patrick's Day parade was at noon Central Time here in Chicago earlier today, and the river was dyed green this morning. So it's a good day to be wearing green. Michigan State easily advances to the final. They got ahead in that one early. Wisconsin had a couple of stretches where it looked like they cut the lead down to 6 or 7 points, might have gotten back in them, but ultimately Wisconsin could not hit a three to save their lives, and they paid dearly for it as Michigan State cruised to a 14-point victory.
Yes, and now Michigan, the 3 seed in the tournament, will be the favorite to win this game. However, don't count out the Gophers put up 75 points on Purdue in the upset, as particularly Jordan Murphy, starting 5, an all-conference caliber player, and Minnesota with Amir Coffey and Jordan Murphy really going to provide a challenge for Michigan with their length.
They certainly will. That was really the only way in which Michigan struggled defensively last night, and that's even a bit of a stretch to call it a struggle, but they held Iowa to 1 3-pointer made, and that was a bank shot in garbage time. Iowa's Cook had a little bit of success on John Teske, and he's a pretty similar player to Jordan Murphy, so that is definitely the matchup to watch here today. John Teske on Jordan Murphy, debatably the best players on both teams.
All right, as the players take the court for the opening faceoff, it will be John Teske versus Daniel Ituru, as the referee gives it up, and tip-off is won by Minnesota, and we are underway. Amir Coffey gives it off to Dupree McBriar, and McBriar gives it off to Murphy, and now Ituru. And now Ituru to McBriar, back to Ituru, and now Coffey. Ituru now at the top is Kalshur, and a steal by Brasdeikis. No, tips back to Ituru, and now Jordan Murphy on the right side, and Murphy will go into the post, and a steal by Xavier Simpson. Now Xavier Simpson 1-on-4 will take it all the way himself. No, he will hold up and back as Michigan set in their offense. Charles Matthews from an 18 feet from the corner airballs it, and a rebound by Jordan Murphy. And now Minnesota has an opportunity to break. McBriar on the right wing. McBriar gives it off to Murphy on the right. Murphy will go into the paint now, back to McBriar. McBriar pulls up for a quick three and off the front of the rim, and a rebound by Xavier Simpson. Iggy Brasdeikis not able to get a full rebound, competing with Jordan Murphy, able to tip it back over to the baseline, and Simpson will get into the half court, and Michigan's offense will go to work. John Teske has the ball at the top. Now Xavier Simpson at the left wing. Now Jordan Poole at the top. Poole will look to drive, give back to Brasdeikis. Brasdeikis for a three from the left wing, and it goes! For the first points of the game, Michigan up 3-0.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Year scoring here in the final of the 2 semifinals. And the three-point ball has been the story so far here today.
And now Coffey to Ituru. Ituru pulls up from the three-point line, and it goes. Minnesota gets points on the board. Jordan Poole plays a quick inbound to Xavier Simpson.
Cannot leave Ituru that wide open.
And now Teske to Charles Matthews. Matthews on the left looking for a lane. Jordan Poole mishandles the pass, but gets it off to Teske. Teske, known to pull up for three, does not choose to do so in this situation. Poole has to place back to Brasdeikis. Brasdeikis for another three and off the front of the rim, and a rebound by Amir Coffey. And Minnesota will not pursue the fast break, will slow it down. Ituru at the top gives it to McBriar. McBriar to Jordan Murphy. Jordan Murphy will drive into the paint on Brasdeikis. Murphy, a block by Brasdeikis, and Jordan Poole will go the other way, and Poole opts to just slow down as Minnesota does a good job of getting numbers back. Poole will drive straight to the rim, and he will get his first points of the game.
I'm very impressed with Ignas Brasdeikis here in the first half. Always offensively great, but he's known as the weak link of a very strong defensive unit. Right now playing phenomenal defense.
And now Kalshur gives it to Murphy. Murphy will pull up for three, try to answer, but it will not go. Off the inside of the front of the rim, and a rebound by John Teske. And now Xavier Simpson looks to push the tempo a little bit, but then opts to hold up. Teskey sets a pick. No, fake pick. Teskey rolls straight to the rim, but cannot get the layup. And Amir Coffey now going the other way for the Gophers. Coffey moves to the middle, and Coffey looking for a passing lane. Coffey will pull up for a three, and it will not go. Xavier Simpson with a rebound. And Ignas Brazdeikis has defended basically everybody. Jordan Poole, another cut to the rim, and another layup for Jordan Poole.
Poole with the quick 4 points, had a quick 5 yesterday. Might be the right time for him to heat up and show the flashes he saw in November and December.
And Coffey gives it to Jordan Murphy, now to Kalshur. Now McBriar back to Kalshur. And Kalshur, McBriar will drive and forced back. And Jordan Murphy has some space, will drive into the paint on Brazdeikis. Murphy goes up and gets it to go. Good defense by Brazdeikis and Teskey, as Teskey had to switch over, and Michigan will play a quick inbound. Simpson to Poole, back to Simpson.
Really a great shot there by Murphy. Brazdeikis did everything he could to make it difficult for him.
And Xavier Simpson, looking for a passing lane at the top, just dumps it off to Jordan Poole on the left. Poole off a pick from Teskey. Jordan Poole to the baseline. Poole will get under, and Jordan Poole will go up and get 6 points.
You know, this month he's had a lot of struggles with getting blocked right at the rim. Right now, though, wisely using the rim to protect himself, he's looked really good, scoring 3 times already on layups.
Poole forcing Kalshur to jump early. And now McBriar on the left wing to Jordan Murphy at the top. And now Amir Coffey. Coffey over the head to Murphy, and now Murphy posts up on Charles Matthews, and now over to Coffey. Coffey has some space. Coffey will drive into the paint, fakes out Poole. Coffey able to get points.
Eli Brooks at the scorer's table. Has he ever been the first substitute to enter the game for the Wolverines?
No, I don't think there's been a time this season where it hasn't been Isaiah Livers, as Xavier Simpson, perhaps the time Livers missed a game with injury.
Or when Livers started.
Yeah, and now Charles Matthews will go off a pick from Teskey. Matthews will drive straight to the rim. No, he'll kick it back out to Poole. Poole pulls out for a quick 3 and off the front of the rim, an ill-advised shot. Now Matthews will drive off the offensive rebound, and Charles Matthews from 8 feet, the fall-away jumper. And Amir Coffey gives it to Jordan Murphy. Now to Kalshur, give and go with Coffey. And Coffey kicks it back to Oturu. Oturu will drive on Teskey, and a block by John Teskey. No, a foul called. And that will take us into the under 16 timeout, a high-octane first 5 minutes of the game. 14:55 left in the first half. Michigan 11, Minnesota 6.
And that'll be an important battle. Maybe not so much as we thought going into it, given the fact that Ignas Brazdeikis has played so well on both sides of the floor early in this one. But John Teskey accumulating his first foul. I can't recall who the one Minnesota foul was called against. But either way, it'll be a big battle between the bigs to see who can stay on the court the longest.
Minnesota actually has yet to be assessed a foul.
Okay, so that's a scoreboard. Yeah, the scoreboard has 1 foul. Oh, Michigan. Okay, sorry, I'm misreading that. Both M schools tripped me up. And correct. That's the first foul of the game.
Minnesota has 3 players each with 2 points. Jordan Murphy, Amir Coffey, and Daniel Oturu. Jordan Murphy, however, held a 1 for 3 shooting from the field in the first 5 minutes. Jordan Poole pacing the scoring for the entire game. 6 points, 3 for 4 from the field. And Ignas Brazdeikis, 2 3-point attempts. He's hit 1. And oddly enough, Ignas Brazdeikis also, of course, much has made Charles Matthews, being from Chicago, Illinois, coming home for an opportunity to play for what would be his second consecutive Big Ten title at Big Ten tournament title at Michigan. But Ignas Brazdeikis, after being born in Lithuania, did live before the age of 6 in Chicago, Illinois, before relocating to Oakville, Ontario.
And that's something I never knew. He does have some time having lived in Chicago. I don't know if he really considers Chicago home at all, but
well, he lived there before the age of 6,
yeah.
So I suppose not. But it remains that either way, Ignas Brazdeikis, after having a fairly good game last night, scored 15 points on 5 for 12 from the field. A player who's really much the last couple since the calendar flipped to 2019, largely been criticized for inefficiency from the floor. 5 for 12, while perhaps not what you'd want to see. That's pretty good.
No, and oftentimes he's the only player on the court who can score for the Wolverines. So even if he's a bit inefficient, sometimes he's just necessary to, get the offense going, score buckets, and get the defense looking anywhere else beside him.
And as we see an alumni spotlight here as the timeout goes on, Herb Brooks, alumnus of the University of Minnesota, head coach of the Miracle on Ice, the USA Olympic hockey team, of course, beating the Soviet Union in the semifinals in the 1980 Winter Olympics, something that is cherished by hockey fans all across the country, including in the city of Chicago, of course. Chicago, you could argue, one of the preeminent hockey cities in the country. Of course, the Chicago Blackhawks, an Original Six franchise.
And I'm impressed you got it there. That was not the defeating the Miracle on Ice was not the gold medal round. That's a frequently misreported fact there, but no, that was the semifinal. The U.S. had not won it just yet.
Yes, of course, against the Red Army hockey team. As the teams will retake the court now, as Daniel Oturu has the opportunity to shoot 2 free throws after the shooting foul committed by John Teske.
And still no Isaiah Livers. Colin Castleton comes in for Teske, who just took his first foul, and Eli Brooks comes in.
And Oturu misses the first free throw, and yes, Colin Castleton, after barely playing at the first half of the season with Austin Davis being John Teske's backup, Castleton has really seized that backup role, particularly scoring 12 points against Nebraska.
And Eli Brooks gets the rebound and draws a foul right there. He's a smaller guy. Always impressive when he can get a rebound off a free throw and then also draws the foul. It's kind of easy to go over his back when he's only barely over 6 feet tall.
It's not often you see a guard lining up in the paint during a free throw as well, as Daniel Oturu has missed both his free throws. Eli Brooks, while perhaps not showing it statistically last night, had a very strong night against Iowa, as Charles Matthews moves to the top, gives it to Brasdeikis. Brasdeikis off a pick from Castleton. Brasdeikis will look to drive, and he is forced back, but has it stolen by McBriar. McBriar going the other way. Coffey is up alongside. McBriar will go straight to the rim, and it will go. And I was looking for the foul from Charles Matthews. It was not given.
And that's something Brasdeikis really needs to improve on. When he has made up his mind to shoot, that's the only option. He's unwilling to back out of a bad situation and pass the ball away. Nasty double team there, and he continues to fight through it, forcing the turnover.
And Jarvis Omersa in for Minnesota, their first substitute. Charles Matthews will play for the bank shot, really low percentage, can't get it to go. Rebound by Omersa, and gives it off to Coffey, and Coffey will slow it down, and right on cue, Isaiah Livers checks over to the scorer's table.
And he's really developed as an offensive player. Still isn't great with the ball in his hands, but his shooting was phenomenal last night.
Isaiah Livers, leads the Wolverines in three-point percentage. Amir Coffey pulls up from behind the free throw line, and it will not go, but an offensive rebound by McBriar. McBriar almost losing the ball, but able to take it back and settle their offense in. And gives it to Coffey, and Coffey playing this very deliberately. Coffey off a pick from Murphy. Murphy will roll. Good defense by Castleton. And now Kalshur will drive. Kalshur pulls up, and a block from Matthews. Out of bounds. Minnesota will get the inbound with 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
And Matthews was a step behind Kalshur as he jumped to shoot that. Great move there to close in and block the ball. Probably going to be in Kalshur's head for the remainder of the night while he's shooting, panicking, wondering if Charles Matthews is peeking over his shoulder.
And we have a little bit of a gaffe by another broadcaster here at the United Center. Andy Laidlaw reports that Jim Nance said that Minnesota won in Ann Arbor. And Isaiah Livers checks in. Coffey on Livers will get his points, and Michigan's lead cut to 1.
And, of course, Charles Matthews hit the game-winning buzzer beater against Minnesota way back in January.
And Jordan Poole gives it to Colin Castleton at the top. Now to Isaiah Livers on the right wing. Livers to Brooks. Eli Brooks off a pick from Castleton. Brooks forced all the way. Now Xavier Simpson in the corner. Simpson will move to the center. And Castleton sets the pick. Simpson not able to find some space, though. And Simpson will cut. Simpson with the floating hook, and it will not go off the back of the rim. A rebound by Jordan Murphy, and Amir Coffey going the other way. And Coffey to Jordan Murphy on Livers. And Coffey gets into the post, gets it out to Kalshur. Kalshur able to find some space, faking out Poole. Kalshur goes up in a block by Livers. Omersa the offensive rebound and misses it, but an offensive rebound by Kalshur and a foul called on Isaiah Livers.
And Michigan has to get those offensive boards. They were up 12 against Michigan State before getting almost rebounded by a single player against Michigan State. At times that's been a struggle. Right there, they're going to, in all likelihood, surrender points and maybe even the lead here due to that lack of defensive rebounding.
And it's Daniel Kalshur will miss the first free throw. Gabe Kalshur. And Michigan will make another substitution. Colin Castleton will go to the bench. And Jordan Poole will come back in. And Kalshur, his second free throw, he hits it. And the score is tied at 11. 12 and a half minutes left in the first half as Xavier Simpson will slow it down off an inbound from Charles Matthews. And Simpson, trying to look for a passing lane, will drive straight to the rim, and Simpson with a hook, and it will go.
First bucket since John Teske left the court for the Wolverines.
And that was really more of a scoop than a hook, but it remains Xavier Simpson has his first points of the game. And now Coffey will drive a steal by Jordan Poole. Poole one-on-one against Kalshur. Poole will go straight to the rim, and he gets it off. He is fouled by Jordan Murphy, I believe that was.
Poole has played so much smarter near the rim so far this morning than he has really all of 2019. Maybe a couple weeks ago he would have tried to force that. Instead, he is smart, doesn't go right to the rim, draws the foul instead rather than risking the turnover. And that looks like they're going to call that a foul on the floor. So Michigan will be inbounding rather than a free throw trip for Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Xavier Simpson makes his first trip to the bench, though, as Ignas Brazdakis comes back in. And that is Eli Brooks playing a ball out to Isaiah Livers.
Still no John Teske.
And Eli Brooks forced to stand at the top, and off a pick from Livers, Brooks gives it out to Charles Matthews at the left corner, and Matthews will move to the center. Eli Brooks getting a push off of Omersa, and Matthews will look to drive, and Matthews gets it out to Livers. Livers at the top for three, and it will not go. A rebound by Omersa, and gives it to Coffey on the left wing. Minnesota has an opportunity to tie the game, if not take a lead. Michigan up 13-11 right now, and Omersa at the top, looking for an overhead pass, gets it off to Coffey just to his right. And Coffey at the top. Now McBriar pulls up from the free throw line, and it will not go. A rebound by Eli Brooks. And Eli Brooks looking to drive. Eli Brooks will drive and has it deflected and taken off his foot, out of bounds. Minnesota basketball, and that will take us to the under 12 timeout. 11 minutes, 22 seconds left in the first half. Michigan 13, Minnesota 11.
And only scoring 2 points between the under 16 and under 12 timeouts there for the Wolverines. They need John Teske back in this game, and they also need Xavier Simpson to be running the offense more. Looked a lot better with Simpson at the point and Teske on the court. Since then, there's been poor ball movement, and the only buckets came when Xavier Simpson drove to the rim.
And that was actually something we were saying last night in the first half, I believe. Michigan went completely cold between the under 16 timeout and the under 12 timeout, and both teams went cold between the under 12 and the under 8 before Michigan, in the dying minutes of the first half, able to put some offense up. And as you said, Daniel, it'll be interesting to see John Teske and Xavier Simpson both on the bench right now. And Teske, of course, John Beilein, notably cautious with fouls. Of course, his famed auto bench rule is well known. And John Teske with one foul. Would not surprise me to see John Teske stay on the bench for at least a little bit longer, as Michigan has had to play it very carefully with John Teske, as he is very important to have John Teske active, particularly in the second half, as the Wolverines really struggle without John Teske on the court.
Yeah, I think Beilein, regardless of what his auto bench rule is, this team needs life offensively, and they look good on defense except for the rebounding. Of course, who's better to get you boards than a 7'2" player like John Teske? They really need to put him in, I think. And
Minnesota not having a great start so far shooting-wise. 5 for 14 from the field, 36%, and 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Michigan has yet to take a free throw. They are 1 for 4 from 3, 25%. From the field, they are 6 for 13, 46%. However, Minnesota is out-rebounding by a margin of 14-8.
And that's where Teske can really help close that gap.
Or my mistake, sorry, 10-7.
Okay, not as bad as 14-8. Still.
However,
a way where Michigan is getting outplayed right now by Minnesota, and a big reason why they're only up 2.
And however, Minnesota, really, you can see Minnesota's advantages on the offensive glass. 4 offensive rebounds to Michigan's 1. However, Michigan does have 4 blocks against Minnesota's 0.
And that has been big. Keeping Minnesota's offense cautious. They have not shot well by and large, and that's because Michigan has played such tight defense, kept shooters nervous about whether or not their shots would get off. And it looks like Teske is sitting down. Yep, he's not going to come back in just yet.
Yeah, Michigan will not make any substitutions, and neither will
they will. Simpson's off the court now.
He was already off the court.
He was. Okay, my bad.
And actually, Minnesota also not making any substitutions. They've only made 1 substitution since the game started, and that was Jarvis Omirsa coming on. And now Murphy gives it off to Kalshur, now to Omirsa. Omirsa to Coffey at the top. Coffey looking for a pass, gives it out to Kalshur. Kalshur guarded by Poole as Kalshur gives it to Jordan Murphy at the top, guarded by Brasdakis. And Murphy to McBriar. Brasdakis switched on McBriar, and McBriar gets it off to Kalshur. Kalshur, the floater, and it will go. And Minnesota has tied the game up at 13. Eli Brooks plays a quick inbound to Poole, and now back to Eli Brooks. And Brooks will get into the half court. And Eli Brooks moves to his left. Isaiah Livers setting a pick. Eli Brooks goes the other way. Isaiah Livers for the corner for three, and it goes.
That's
Isaiah Livers.
Two. Two.
You're right, sorry, a long two, but Isaiah Livers with his first points of the game.
Yep, Livers might be surprised, but his foot was definitely over the line. Not have affected his shot, but he should have pulled his foot back. Nonetheless, 2-point lead for the Wolverines.
And McBriar to Murphy. Almost fakes the give and go with Coffey, now able to get it off to Amir Coffey. Coffey guarded by Matthews, and off a pick from Murphy. And Coffey will go to the baseline. Coffey forced back. Good defense by Isaiah Livers, and easy pass to Omirsa, but good defense by Eli Brooks. No, a foul called.
Right now, as John Teskey and Xavier Simpson are at the scorers table, they should be coming in after the first of these two free throws. Some fans disagree. This is definitely a pro-Michigan crowd, although split up largely by the Wisconsin and Michigan State fans who are here for the first game.
And Jarvis Omirsa will take two free throws, and he misses the first one. Minnesota has yet to hit the first free throw in any of their trips to the line. And substitutions, Eli Brooks and Charles Matthews will go to the bench. Xavier Simpson and John Teskey back out on the court. That will be 4 of the 5 starters for Michigan, Isaiah Livers being the only non-starter on the court. And it looks like Minnesota will look to substitute as well, but that will have to wait as Omirsa misses the second free throw. And Xavier Simpson at the top gives it to Poole and out to Isaiah Livers. And Livers looking for a lane marked closely by Jordan Murphy. Livers forced to move back. And Livers gives the ball off to Simpson. Teskey sets a screen at the top. Simpson looking for a lane. Now Livers. Livers will drive. Livers is tripped, and a foul called on McBriar.
Easy call there. Livers was looking to go toward the rim. Instead was basically yanked down by his arm. I was a bit surprised the officials took half a second to even call that one.
And Omirsa goes to the bench. Daniel Oturu comes in. That was a Grayson Allen foul, except I'm willing to believe that he actually did it unintentionally. And Xavier Simpson plays a quick inbound to Teskey, gives it back to Simpson. Simpson moves to the center. Now Brasdakis pump fakes. Brasdakis moves in from about 20 feet, and Iggy Brasdakis hits another one.
4-point lead for the Wolverines as they have never trailed. They never are dipping into a deficit here.
And now McBriar, guarded by Simpson. Oturu sets a pick, and now it's Amir Coffey. Coffey moves to the center. Oturu sets another pick. Coffey to McBriar. McBriar moves just inside the three-point line. It will not go, and a rebound by Jordan Poole. Xavier Simpson will go the other way for Michigan. And Simpson looking for a passing lane. Simpson off a screen from Teskey. Back to Teskey. Teskey to Livers on the right wing. Now Livers will get into the paint, and Livers will give it off to Teskey. Teskey for three from the right wing. Too short. Air ball rebound, Jordan Murphy. And now Minnesota trying to play fast. Coffey will go straight to, and a steal by Xavier Simpson. Jordan Poole taps it away, and Iggy Brasdakis cherry picking, and Brasdakis with the dunk.
He didn't get back on defense, but it sure paid off right there. He was maybe 10 feet ahead of any other Minnesota player right as that turnover occurred.
That's more than 10 feet, Daniel. And
trying to do him a favor.
And Jordan Murphy at the top as Daniel Oturu holds the ball beyond the arc and now gives it to McBriar. Pass behind McBriar, and McBriar has to scramble to keep that from going out of bounds. McBriar off a pick from Oturu. McBriar to Oturu. Oturu fools John Teskey, has to get away from it. Brasdakis not able to protect the rim, and Minnesota gets a bucket back. And Poole plays an inbound to Xavier Simpson. Simpson gets into the half court. Michigan going to play it a bit slower as Xavier Simpson looking for a lane, tightly marked by McBriar, gets it off to Poole, guarded by Kalshur. And Jordan Poole for three from the top and banks it in.
He had the look he wanted. Not the best looking shot ever. He was kind of collapsing as he shot, but bucket still counts. 22-15, Wolverines on top.
Aim for the white square. That's what I was always told in high school gym class. And now as Jordan Murphy on Brasdeikis. Murphy gets into the paint and backs Brasdeikis off, but a block by Teskey and a rebound by Brasdeikis and a foul called on Jordan Murphy.
So Murphy has really been kept quiet in this game. He is, by all means, Minnesota's star player, all-conference caliber, and he's been really kept quiet in this one. Ignas Brasdeikis, not known to be a defensive talent, really locking him down. Impressive performance there, and he gets the rebound after forcing the missed shot and then draws the foul on Murphy. And for those of you joining in, it is now 3 Central, 4 o'clock Eastern time. For those of you just joining in, welcome here on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. WCBN Sports coverage of the Big Ten basketball tournament. Michigan currently with a 22-15 lead on the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and we are in the under 8 media timeout as we are playing players for the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers trying to name as many Chicago Bulls as they can, and generally players are doing quite well, which is substantially better than what we've seen so far this weekend. Michigan State and Wisconsin players not really doing a great job of naming Chicago Bulls. Particularly surprised by Ethan Happ's ability to name players, of course being a native from the state of Illinois. Yeah, he even said at the end of his clip that his dad's going to be mad at him.
He was able to remember Kirk Heinrich, but not Derrick Rose.
Yeah, which is, very strange. Happ would have been probably in middle school or early high school when Derrick Rose won the MVP, but...
Yes, Derrick Rose won the MVP the season I was in 7th grade. Ethan Happ is 2 years older than me. He would have been a freshman in high school.
There you go. So disappointing there, but we thank any of you listening in the Southeast Michigan region. You were originally scheduled to get a softball broadcast here at 4 p.m., which is why we join you half an hour into the broadcast. However, inclement weather and a couple other factors caused Michigan baseball and softball to have their schedules changed. If you want to listen to some Michigan baseball right now, that is going on our second YouTube channel, WCBN Sports 2. Austin Falco on the solo call there. Michigan coming off a big win on against Manhattan on Friday, 21-2, I believe.
23-2.
23-2.
Austin Falco and Andy Laidlaw sticking it out
for a 21-point victory. On the anniversary of the largest victory, 20-year anniversary of the largest victory in college baseball history, Nebraska Cornhuskers defeat Chicago State 50-3.
Yes, it was Andy Laidlaw's first baseball broadcast as a member of WCBN. Hopefully he was okay with that. But,
yeah, for an 21-point just drubbing.
Yeah, and, of course, Michigan baseball yet to lose a game so far this season, starting the season ranked in the top 20.
They did lose a couple games in California. Haven't lost a game at home, but they beat number 2 UCLA in the same tournament where they after that tournament they fell out of the rankings despite beating number 2 UCLA, lost to a couple of other unranked opponents.
You're correct. That's my mistake.
11-4
Michigan baseball stands at 11-4, and
on their way to 12-4.
Yes.
If you want to hear how that one finishes, you can go to our second YouTube channel, or even on the internet, pull up the baseball broadcast and keep the WCBN basketball broadcast on your radio. Got a lot of options here.
Of course, WCBN travels far and wide to cover Michigan athletics, hence why we are in Chicago. As the game resumes, Jordan Poole moves to his right, gives it off to Ignas Brasdeikis. Brasdeikis will look to drive. Brasdeikis gets the ball off to Isaiah Livers off a pick from Teskey. Livers to Brasdeikis. Brasdeikis will go to the baseline. Brasdeikis to the rim, and a block by Oturu. No, it goes in anyway. And Amir Coffey takes the quick inbound. Brasdeikis now up to 9 points on the afternoon. And Coffey to Jordan Murphy. Murphy gets it to Kalshur. Kalshur fakes out Poole. Kalshur the floater, and it will go, and will not go. A rebound by Brasdeikis. And Xavier Simpson trying to push the tempo, gives it to Poole. Poole will look to create some space. Poole moves inside the arc. Poole to the baseline, posts up, and now gets it back to Xavier Simpson. And Xavier Simpson at the top taking his time, 13 seconds left on the shot clock. And Simpson to the baseline. Simpson will drive, and it will go off the backboard. And Brock Stoll substituted in, getting his first game action for the Minnesota Golden Gophers as Amir Coffey gives it off to Stoll, now to Kalshur. Kalshur and Murphy have not sat down. Neither has Coffey in this game, and Michigan vacating the paint. And a missed wide-open layup by Gabe Kalshur, a rebound by Brasdeikis. And I can't believe what I just saw. Xavier Simpson at the right point. Gives it to Teskey, now back to Simpson. And Simpson will look to drive. Simpson back to Poole. Jordan Poole, left wing for three. And it will not go. A rebound by Daniel Oturu.
And to save Kalsher some face, he did not have the worst miss of the day. Nick Ward missed a dunk right before halftime where he just tried too hard to have a fancy dunk, but that's a bad look for Minnesota.
Oh, my goodness. And Brock Stoll on the left wing. Now to Oturu. Oturu pulls up from the free throw line and off the back of the rim, but a rebound by Isaiah Livers. Excellent tip by John Teskey, tipping it away from Jordan Murphy. And now Xavier Simpson will slow down the offense. 5.5 minutes left in the first half. Michigan 26, Minnesota 15. Michigan on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. And now Teskey at the top. Teskey to Simpson. Off the screen from Teskey. Simpson will pull up for three, and Simpson cannot get it to go. Xavier Simpson did not miss a shot this afternoon, last night against Iowa. But an offensive rebound by Teskey, and Simpson will run under the hoop, and now Livers to the baseline. Livers goes up for the dunk.
Fantastic movement there by the offense. Teskey gave a wonderful screen to let Xavier Simpson have that good look. After the rebound is corralled, Simpson goes to the basket. At least that's what the Minnesota defense thinks. So they over-pursue him. Jordan Murphy follows Simpson, and Livers is wide open to complete the dunk.
And Richard Pitino will burn his first timeout.
And this was a 13-13 game not long ago, 28-15 now. Things have gotten out of hand quickly for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who they really solidified their tournament bid anyway. They weren't really a bubble team going into this tournament, but winning those two first games, including their second signature win over Purdue, that really solidified them as, at worst, probably a 9 seed for this tournament. But they have their eyes set on a much bigger prize. It'll be hard. That requires erasing a 13-point deficit, though.
Of course, Richard Pitino, in his sixth season in Minneapolis, largely done a good job with his program, winning the NIT in his first season. Of course, the brother of the very successful but also highly controversial Rick Pitino.
Son. You said brother.
Either way, play resumes, and the inbound given to Amir Coffey. And Coffey gives it off to Stoll. And now McBriar to Coffey. Off the screen from Oturu. And back to Stoll. Stoll fakes out Simpson. Stoll gives it off to Coffey. Coffey for three. No-go rebound Isaiah Livers. And Michael Hurt, his first game action for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, replacing Gabe Kalshur. And Xavier Simpson off a screen from Livers. Simpson gives it to Brasdakis. Brasdakis will look to drive, has to give it off to Simpson. Good defense by Hurt. And Simpson delivers. Livers fakes the three. Now to Simpson. Xavier Simpson will drive to the baseline. Simpson, the scoop shot, but he's fouled on the court. And Michigan will not shoot free throws.
That looks to be Minnesota's 5th foul, so still not quite in the bonus at all yet. Very solid defense on both sides. And clean defense too. Only 8 fouls called in total here at the 4:20 mark in the first half. Michigan sorts out who's going to inbound it. It will be Xavier Simpson.
Yep, Xavier Simpson. Eli Brooks back in the game, as well as Charles Matthews. And Matthews will look to drive. Matthews, 10 feet fadeaway. I think Coffey may have gotten a hand on that. And a rebound by Oturu. And now McBriar moves to the right, now moves to the center. McBriar to Stoll, to Hurt. Hurt will look to move slightly to the center. Now Hurt gives it off to Oturu. Livers falls down. Oturu has some space. And a double dribble called on Daniel Oturu, and a rough afternoon is just continuously getting worse for Minnesota.
And some really ugly basketball there as Isaiah Livers over-pursues, falls flat on his face on the hardwood. But then Oturu very unnecessarily picks up his double dribble called. He was about to get fouled by Livers had he not done so. Ugly look there, and now Michigan will have the ball back again, up 13. And you wonder what they're going to do to get back in this one.
And it'll be interesting to see now the under 4 timeout has arrived, and really the numbers are quite staggering. Michigan, a 9-0 run over the last 3 minutes and 55 seconds, a 15-2 run over the last 6:38. Minnesota 0 for their last 5, 1 for their last 7, has not scored in over 4 minutes.
This might be totally frivolous, but right on the board right now, they had that segment where they ask players favorite emoji, video game, whatever. One of the questions they've been asking all week is Fortnite or NBA 2K. Xavier Simpson, not at all to my surprise, just said Fortnite is the game he prefers. anyone who follows him on social media will know he is frequently getting victories. He finishes first out of 100 with great frequency. I know there's some nights where on his Instagram story he'll post 3 different victory royales on Fortnite. So for those of you who I barely even know what happens in that game, but I know Xavier Simpson is excellent. When he's done with basketball, he might have a Twitch career. Who knows? He's quite good at Fortnite.
Now, Xavier Simpson, of course, a really Michigan's talisman all season, of course, really coming to play, particularly in big games. Of course, we all remember the triple-double he put up against Ohio State. Yes, a 6-foot-tall point guard managed to get 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he had the triple-double you're right, against Ohio State. I mean, he does everything. It's really remarkable. For a player of his size, you typically assume that shooting is their strength, but the only shot that he really has that's remarkable is the hook shot.
Yes.
Which is the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trademark. I mean, he's over a foot taller than him, I'd have to say.
Xavier Simpson, of course, when he came to Michigan 3 years ago, you're right, as a freshman, he was back up to Derek Walton Jr.
Sorry, 2 years ago as a freshman.
Yeah, 2 years ago in his freshman season, he was back up to Derek Walton Jr. Of course, Derek Walton Jr., much beloved figure in Ann Arbor, has actually played very similar to how Xavier Simpson plays now, the ability to do pretty much anything. But Xavier Simpson largely panned as a purely defensive point guard with no offensive game. But Xavier Simpson, and still struggled through much of last season on offense, but his defense never left him, and now his offensive game is coming into form, and he's become one of the most dangerous all-around players in the Big Ten Conference in his junior season here in Ann Arbor.
Absolutely, and even though he doesn't add too much in perimeter shooting or spreading the floor, it's just amazing the way he commands the court like a field general, always can find the open man, phenomenal passer. It's truly remarkable the game he plays. He does not play like a man who is generously 6 feet tall. Xavier
Simpson, of course, already 4 assists this afternoon, and after, as stated previously, Xavier Simpson went 4 for 4 from the field last night against Iowa, including 2 for 2 from 3. It was 2 3-point shots and 2 hook shots. As really an extremely efficient night from the junior point guard from Ohio. And play resumes. Jordan Poole plays a quick inbound to Simpson. Xavier Simpson gives it off to Teske at the point. And Teske will look for a lane. Michigan slowing their offense down as Simpson gives it to Poole. Poole marked tightly by Kalshur, who's back in the game. Xavier Simpson at the corner will drive off the screen from Teske, and Simpson settles on the left wing to Poole at the top. Now Simpson. Simpson pulls up for 3 and gets it to go.
And we just say, he's a complete point guard except for shooting, and right there he sinks another 3. Third, I think, of this Big Ten tournament for him. So, he really does it all.
And Kalshur gives it off to Coffey. Oturu tries to set a screen. Coffey doesn't take. And Coffey give and go with Kalshur. Kalshur will not pull it from the free throw line. And now Oturu in the post against Teske. Oturu will go up, and he has to give it off to Jordan Murphy, and live ball, but recovered by Jordan Murphy. And now McBriar wide open for 3. Off the back of the rim, a rebound by John Teske. And Xavier Simpson will go the other way. Michigan slowing down their offense with their score more than double that of the Gophers, 31-15, as Jarvis Omersa will move over to the scorer's table. And Isaiah Livers the corner for 3 off the inside of the front of the rim. Will not go. A rebound by Daniel Oturu as Amir Coffey will move in. And Coffey almost slips, but able to recover. Coffey to Oturu. Now McBriar. And McBriar will get it back to Jordan Murphy. Jordan Murphy will drive. Murphy goes up on Matthews, and Jordan Murphy breaks Minnesota's freezing cold run.
And that's only his 4th point of the game. No Minnesota Golden Gopher with more than 4 points. I mean, that's just the way Michigan has limited Minnesota. And they built this lead without Ignas Brazdeikis for a good run of it, as he's now at the scorer's table.
Ignas Brazdeikis, yes, as you said, at the scorer's table. And now Charles Matthews at the corner will drive to the baseline. Charles Matthews goes up, and Charles Matthews with another bucket to his name.
What ankle injury.
Charles Matthews, of course, missed 3 weeks with an ankle injury sustained against Michigan State. Made his return to the court last night against Iowa.
And looked very agile right there.
And now Jordan Murphy against Livers. Gets it back to Coffey. Coffey to McBriar. McBriar fakes the shot and gets the pass off the feet to Oturu. Oturu will fade away from 5 feet, will not go, and a rebound by Teske. Gives it to Poole. Poole will give it back to Simpson. 90 seconds left in the first half. Michigan 33, Minnesota 17. Xavier Simpson again, playing this very deliberately. Gives it off to Poole. Now to Livers. Simpson. Off a screen from Teskey. Simpson will go, gives it back to Teskey. John Teskey for 3 off the back of the rim. No, it banks in!
I need to see a replay on that one. I don't really quite understand the physics right there.
There it is, Daniel. There it is.
Okay, I thought it was a lot wider left than it was at first, but there he goes.
There's
another
John
3.
Teskey, the bow and arrow celebration. And Jordan Murphy over the head to Oturu, tipped away by Livers, but good recovery by McBriar. Murphy will drive on Teskey, and it goes.
The referees have swallowed their whistles in this one. That one could have been called there a block or definitely would have been a blocking foul on Teskey, but so far they've let them play.
Yeah, only 8 fouls called between the teams. Minnesota 5, Michigan 3. Jordan Poole will pull up from about 20 feet, and in and out will not go. A rebound by Oturu. 30 seconds left, and Minnesota will slow it down. And it looks like 3 seconds separating shot and game clock as Amir Coffey will take it very slowly. Looks to run the clock all the way down to a point that Michigan can't really score at the end of the half. And Coffey, 6 seconds left on the shot clock, and now Coffey will move. Coffey will drive straight to the lane. Coffey will go up and will not go. Rebound by Xavier Simpson. 3 seconds left. Simpson will drive all the way. Simpson goes up and gets a bucket at the tail end of the first half. And Michigan doubles up the Gophers going into halftime after a not quite buzzer-beating layup. Coast-to-coast drive by Xavier Simpson. Michigan 38, Minnesota 19.
What can't he do? I mean, the only thing he didn't do last night that he's done so far is miss a bucket, and I think he only has 1 miss.
He can't reach the top cabinet. That's what Xavier Simpson can't do. That's the only thing.
Only in warm-ups. Yeah, I've seen him in Chrysler nail a dunk in warm-ups, but with another player between him and the rim, no, it's not happening. But an amazing move right there. Very quick, very, very smart heads up. Goes coast to coast and gets the dunk. I mean, Michigan's defense has just been tenacious. The only complaint, I guess, would be defensive rebounding. And they've really acted like a unit on a lot of these rebounds. It looks like they're playing Plinko a lot of times with the ball as it goes back and forth out of a bunch of sets of hands
and
before someone. And as Nate just points out to me, it's been really interesting watching the halftime shows here at the Big Ten tournament, having been to like 8 basketball games in 2 days now.
We've been very busy people.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of the halftime shows. Right now, the leader in the clubhouse
is Tyler's balancing.
Tyler's amazing balancing act, or whatever it's called. I mean, that man, after balancing like a 10-foot ladder on his chin, the Wisconsin band begged him to like balance their trombones and tubas on his chin, and that's unscripted. Like, he wasn't preparing for that.
He balanced.
And he nailed it.
He balanced a sousaphone. He held up a sousaphone with his face. And the Jesse White Tumblers,
yes, they've been in Chrysler.
Say we have seen them in Ann Arbor before.
And they're a fun show to watch, too. I mean, they're so athletic, these people.
And we will stay with you for the duration of this halftime. Daniel and I will relinquish our headsets about halfway through to Nate Sorensen and Lucas Vargas, who will deliver the second half for you.
And the Jesse White Tumblers, they're a Chicago-based group, if I recall correctly.
I believe so.
It says Chicago, Illinois on the backs of their T-shirts. At least when they were in Ann Arbor, it said so. So, you know, that very, very logical, a great Big Ten halftime show. You got to wonder who'll be the halftime show tomorrow. I'd put my money on Red Panda.
I would hope for Red Panda.
A favorite across the Big Ten is right now they're making like basically a human pyramid and just do backflips over them. And like that's routine for them. That's not even like the highlight of the show.
We haven't even gotten to the fun part yet, and actually Michigan by the end of the first half out-rebounded the Gophers 18-15, and Minnesota has not gotten an offensive rebound, I think, since the 14-minute mark.
It's been an all-around complete game. I mean, Michigan State played very well against what is usually a better opponent, Wisconsin, typically the better team. But Michigan right now has played so complete. I mean, they've got a little bit of luck around the perimeter, much like Michigan State did. Michigan State shot nearly 50%, while Wisconsin was abysmal, shooting around 10% from beyond the arc. And Minnesota has not made a bucket yet today. And Michigan had 2 different three-pointers go off the backboard before falling in. Even change that fortune a bit, Michigan's still up comfortably.
Yes, and now for the 3rd year in a row, Michigan has really turned it on in the tournament. In the Big Ten tournament, of course, we all remember 2 years ago, 2016-17, an aborted takeoff out of Ypsilanti Airport nearly derailed Michigan's tournament run before it started. Of course, the team had to hold a vote. Team held a vote after that aborted takeoff whether they actually wanted to go to D.C. and play in the tournament or forfeit. And including Michigan's team leader, Derek Walton Jr., actually has openly expressed that he voted to forfeit the tournament run, but the team voted to go to D.C., and they did, and they went on a Cinderella run, of course, playing their first game against Illinois in their practice jerseys, and a quick victory over the Illini, and then a run that ultimately culminated in a victory over Purdue in the final. No,
they beat Purdue in the
you're right. Sorry, that was
quarterfinal.
That was against Wisconsin, rather, in the final of the Big Ten tournament in 2016, and then 16-17, and then 17-18, and after an excellent close to the regular season, a magical run to their second consecutive Big Ten tournament title, including a victory over Michigan State in the semifinals and a victory over Purdue in the finals, where John Teske came off the bench and scored 15 points, and Mo Wagner was crowned MVP of the tournament.
Indeed. I mean, we haven't been here for the whole tournament, but every team that's left playing, beside Minnesota, who is it's not looking great for right now. I'm not going to call this game yet, but we've seen all the teams that are likely to be still going on Sunday. I'm not really sure who the betting favorite would be for tournament MVP, though. Although, Kenny Goins has looked phenomenal.
A lot of it is on who wins tomorrow.
Yes. Kenny Goins has been phenomenal. Xavier Simpson, phenomenal. There's a bunch of good options.
I think you're probably looking at perhaps Kenny Goins. If Michigan State were to win the tournament, I think Kenny Goins is probably my vote.
I mean, he came out in the first half of that Wisconsin game earlier today and hit, I think, his first three-point attempts very early on. I mean, that buried Wisconsin 6 feet underground to start the game.
Pardon our disrespect of Foster Lawyer.
He scored 14 yesterday, but was pretty irrelevant today.
Yes, and were Michigan to run all the way to the title, oddly enough, Xavier Simpson's a good shout. I may have to consider voting for Jordan Poole.
He's been a lot better offensively and has forced quite a few turnovers on defense. Right now we have the tumblers jumping over a line of 8 people, 4 cheerleaders, 4 other tumblers, and the line gets bigger with every subsequent jump, so 9 now.
The Minnesota cheerleaders now participating.
It's two Minnesota, 2 Michigan.
You're right.
Hard to tell with both wearing white, but
and
it's got a line of 10 now.
Yeah, getting progressively longer.
As you can hear the oohs and ahs of the stadium getting picked up on the Nat mics.
Yeah. Michigan closed the first half on a 19-4 run in the last 7 minutes and 52 seconds of the half. They closed the first half shooting 57% from the field, 17 for 30.
And we are right now going full speed headed up for a all-Michigan battle in the championship game. I don't know when the last time that happened was, if ever.
That was, I believe, 2014.
Really? 2014? Okay, so much more recent than
Michigan State, a victory over Michigan in the finals.
So we're headed toward the best rivalry in Big Ten basketball, deciding who wins the conference tournament and secures the auto bid. Not that either team needs it. Both teams widely mocked as
both teams are comfortably probably top 2 seeds.
Indeed, Michigan's gotten a lot of help over the past couple of days. Other teams in that conversation for 2 or 3 losing. So Michigan is in all likelihood, by making the championship game, will lock up a 2-seed spot, unless maybe Florida State were to upset Duke tonight in the ACC championship game. That would make things interesting. And Michigan State is in the running for a 1 seed, I still have to say. I mean, if Tennessee can knock off Kentucky tonight and Michigan State wins the Big Ten, there's a very real chance that they get a 1 seed.
And we will find out here. Of course, Michigan State winning the Big Ten regular season title for the 2nd year in a row. However, last season largely considered disappointing for the Spartans after getting eliminated in the semifinals of the conference tournament by Michigan, and then losing in the first weekend of the tournament to, I believe, an 11 seed in Syracuse.
Yeah, and last year both teams were 3 seeds. Interestingly, in all likelihood, they'll both be 2 seeds this year, so both getting even easier routes to the Sweet 16. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Yeah, I mean, Michigan State is 100% a lock for a 2 at this point.
Yes, of course, and Michigan State really, for stretches of this season, has looked almost better than last season's team, even though last season's team had 2 lottery picks in Miles Bridges and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Well, Kenny Goins, as a 5th year, has really come along.
Kenny Goins has come alive, and really an excellent showing by the Spartans this year. Tom Izzo, firmly reestablished his spot as one of the 10, if not 5 best coaches in the country.
Yeah, they were maybe even at WCBM. We were a bit guilty of predicting the end of the Izzo era a bit too soon.
I mostly blame Evan Osterley for that, but that's okay. And now the tumbling team is complete. An excellent show once again, as we are now at the halfway point through halftime, and that will signal our end. Thank you very much for listening to us so far. My name is Nick Hornberg alongside Daniel Thompson, bringing you the first half. And the first half of halftime, it will be Lucas Vargas and Nate Sorensen carrying you through the second half from for here coverage from 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor.
Thank you guys very much for that call on the first half. Nick Hornberg and Daniel Thompson, everybody. Give them a round of applause in your homes or in your cars, wherever you're listening. I don't care if you get strange looks or not. I'm Nathan Sorensen here alongside Lucas Vargas. Lucas will be doing the play-by-play. I'll be your color man. And I know these guys just mentioned it right now, but this halftime show we just watched, I did not catch a name. Did you catch a name on those guys? I've seen them before, and honestly, what they do is straight up disrespectful to the laws of physics and gravity. I don't know how that happens, how it works. I cannot believe my eyes. I'm just sitting here watching these people jump like about 20 feet in the air, even without the trampoline.
Yeah, I also can't did not catch a name, and I also can't quite comprehend how they do it, but it does justify a trampoline as probably one of the greatest investments you can possibly make. I mean, there's just so many limitless fun things you can do on a trampoline. Like, for example, you put a trampoline underneath a basketball hoop.
Oh my, yeah.
And you have a little game on there like that. That is just unlimited fun. Here's one that you probably haven't thought of before. If you just get all the soap in your house and you bring it out and you just put it on the trampoline, and then you take a hose and you water that baby down, that will be...
Well, it's like a bubble bath, but on the trampoline?
It's a slippery trampoline. You will never know you could have that much fun, and you will also never know that your mom could be so mad at you. May or may not have done that as a child. But, yeah, on to the topic of basketball, Nate. We saw both Minnesota and Purdue play last night, and Minnesota, I mean, they really looked good in that win, 75-73. That said, all the scoring was done by the starters. I think Dupree McBrayer might have only had one basket, but at the same time, that's still a lot of points to be scored by only 5 players. And they did it a lot by post-isolations for Oturu or Murphy. Murphy a little bit more capable off the bounce. And then Amir Coffey had some really nice drives to the basket as well. Gabe Kalsher, really good scorer as well. But, I mean, they just haven't had any effectiveness whatsoever here against Michigan in the last 2 first halves that the Gophers have played against the Wolverines. They have 37 combined points. Just to put that in perspective, Michigan, 38 points in the first half.
Absolutely crazy what Michigan has done here today. And yeah, Minnesota is playing no slouch in Purdue. Purdue ended up winning a share of the Big Ten regular season title, and for good reason. They earned that. And a lot of that game was a shootout, just about every sense of the word. That this Minnesota team was firing on all cylinders. They looked absolutely explosive on the offensive end there. As you were saying, Coffey, Murphy were getting inside the paint at will, pretty much doing whatever they want to do, whatever they wanted to do, rather. And now, today, they simply do not look comfortable on the floor. I mean, Michigan has played so well on the offensive end here today, but really what's made this performance so dominant is what they're doing on the defensive end, and it's the entire team. For a team like Minnesota, they're so big, they're strong, they have a lot of length, and they like to be aggressive going to the basket. For Michigan to be able to protect the rim without fouling, too, it's really almost an impossible task. They've done it so far.
Well, and this is the 3rd time that these 2 teams have played. Michigan winning the first matchup in Ann Arbor on a Charles Matthews buzzer beater in a very tight game. A little bit ugly there, but then going to the barn in Minneapolis and really taking care of business, as we mentioned, that the last time Michigan and Minnesota played, the Gophers only had 18 first-half points as well. So, I mean, really just finding ways to defend this Gophers team, and you do wonder if fatigue is starting to set in for Minnesota. You know, they played against Penn State 2 days ago had that really emotional, competitive game against Purdue last night, and now they're playing a Michigan team that really was comfortably ahead the entire time against Iowa, got to rest some guys down the stretch. If you can win a game by a lot in a tournament, you don't have to put quite the minutes load on your team as you usually do. Michigan got that luxury last night. Minnesota did not, though, and I wonder if that could be playing into effect. Also, worth noting that Minnesota has almost no fans here. No energy other than what the Gophers themselves are bringing.
Absolutely. And, well, they do have Spartan fans here. A lot of green, or maybe those are just people celebrating St. Patrick's Day a day
truthfully, I don't know. I think a lot of these Michigan State fans almost want to see Michigan win. I think they want the round 3 rematch.
Do they? I can understand they've beaten Michigan twice now so far this year, but I can imagine wanting to play this Michigan team, the way they're looking today especially.
Well, I mean, they would probably take it either way. With they get the rematch or they'd see Michigan lose. But that's kind of beside the point.
Yep.
Here we are at 38-19. 2 minutes to go before the second half resumes play. And, I mean, if Michigan's able to start the second half out strong, then you'd figure that they can almost do what they did against Iowa similarly last night, where they get a lot of these starters to just kind of hit the bench early, can play their bench a lot more than normal, and really be fresh going into the Sunday afternoon matchup, the last conference championship game before Selection Sunday.
And really the only starters playing very much in that second half, it seemed like, to me, it was like Charles Matthews and Jordan Poole were in there for a little bit, and I don't think they have anything to prove here in this second half. Charles Matthews only has 4 points, 2 of 5 shooting, but he has been absolutely dominant on the defensive end. I think it's safe to say he is back. He looks healthy. He looks ready to go for another shot at MSU.
And continuing the trend from yesterday, where Michigan had 24 assists on 28 made field goals. So far at half, it is 10 assists on 17 made field goals. We talked to the guys in the locker room after the game, and a lot of them just talked about how much it showed they enjoyed playing together, how long they had played together, and how they acknowledged the fact that, yes, that's what they were going to need to do to get back to the basics, moving the ball effectively, getting open shots. And, they have certainly showed that they are going to carry that focus here into this afternoon.
And not only have they been unselfish getting the assist, it's just been a balanced scoring game overall here. Now Matthews with the 4 points, Poole, Simpson, and Brazdakis all sitting at 9 points. Teskey and Livers both chipping in as well. It's been beautiful basketball. I said it a bunch yesterday. It's been the same here today. Lots of ball movement, and this team looks like a completely different team on offense than they did in that last month of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, just really, really locked into moving the ball, and that's what John Beilein's teams do. They move the ball and they hit outside shots, and that really opens it up. I think, I just go all the way back to the scrimmage against Northwood for Michigan at the very beginning of the year. I mean, a very long time ago. It's a completely different team at this point, but that Michigan team, I saw opportunities to just constantly attack the basket on dribble drives, and then there were going to be open passes due to the help that they would draw. And, it's almost come full circle. That's what we're seeing here in the early rounds of the Big Ten tournament.
It absolutely is. And, a lot of offensive struggles sometimes comes down to you're just not making shots. And a little bit of that was a problem for Michigan. They just couldn't make shots. But you can tell they're playing with a different – they look like they're playing with a sense of freedom, so much really joy they're playing with on offense. It's a sight to see.
So here we go, second half underway. Xavier Simpson with the ball, Michigan possession to open things up. He'll use the screen from John Teskey. Toss it to Iggy, who will drive down the lane. He will back down Murphy, and hook shot is short, but the rebound gets tipped out of bounds, so Michigan will retain possession on the court so far to start things out for the Gophers. McBriar, Kalsher, Coffey, Murphy, and Oturu for Michigan. It's going to be Simpson, Teskey, Ignas Brazdakis, Jordan Poole, and Charles Matthews. Xavier Simpson will inbound the ball, and John Teskey will take that inbounds in the left corner, hand it off to Simpson, who dribbles around to the top of the key, looks back the other way, left wing Jordan Poole. He'll use a screen from John Teskey, flip it inside, Teskey down low. He will travel before a good pass, so a turnover, and Minnesota will get their first possession of the second half.
Tough one right there. Teskey looked like he was ready to go up with it. That's why he got caught with the travel. He got stuck in between wanting to go up and passing the ball, but love to see the instinct to pass there from the big man.
So Amir Coffey, the de facto point guard for the Gophers, will toss it to Dupree McBrayer on the left wing. Now Jordan Murphy, top of the key. Kauscher now right wing. Flick it to Oturu, who will dribble handoff to Coffey. Coffey looking to go downhill, can't do it. Murphy left wing dribbles inside against Iggy. He will travel as well, so a pair of travels to start off the possessions for each team.
And Iggy Brazdakis, how about the defensive effort here today? He has been absolutely stellar right there. Moved the feet perfectly to contest that shot and force the travel.
He's certainly looked locked in on defense. Xavier Simpson now crosses half court. He'll be guarded by Dupree McBrayer. Handoff to Charles Matthews on the left wing. Uses a screen from John Teskey. Goes to the right elbow. Flips it back to Simpson, who tosses a three. Got it good. Xavier Simpson been really locked in from downtown in this tournament. Now McBrayer on the right wing for the Gophers. Back to Coffey on the wing. Oturu top of the key. Handoff to Kauscher, who will toss it inside to Murphy. Murphy posts up, gets the layup to go. That's what we saw a lot of last night against Purdue.
Yep, they found the matchup they wanted. Jordan Murphy on Iggy. He's got a bit of a size advantage there. Was able to just muscle it into the side of the paint there for two.
So Jordan Poole now at the top of the key. Ball screen from John Teskey. He'll be fouled using the screen. Foul's going to go on number 22, Gabe Kauscher, the outstanding freshman for the Gophers from Edina, Minnesota.
And right there, Iggy's had a fantastic defensive game. He has 2 blocks to go along with, just excellent footwork. But on that one right there, he's just giving up a little bit too much size.
So now Matthews left wing. He'll drive in strong and get blocked by Oturu. Really strong vertical jump for the freshman center for the Gophers. Michigan will have to inbound it with 8 seconds on the shot clock.
There may have been some contact there down low on the body, but the refs have been very reluctant to call fouls so far in this one. It's been a low foul game overall.
Jordan Poole on a good cut to the basket. Passes a little bit too late. Kauscher able to deflect it out of bounds. So now 7 seconds on the shot clock. They'll have to flip to the other side of the lane for this inbounds pass. 18:06 to go in the second half. 41-21. Michigan leads it against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Iggy backing down Jordan Murphy now. And they're going to call a foul on Murphy, I believe, on the post-up. So that's going to be Jordan Murphy's second foul. Has done a good job staying out of foul trouble so far, but the Gophers are certainly going to need him if they want to mount a monumental comeback. So another inbounds pass, 20 seconds on shot clock. Simpson to Matthews in the short corner. Matthews airballs it way long. Murphy the rebound. Coffey the other way up the court. Coffey to the right wing. Reverses the ball all the way to the left wing. McBrayer now Murphy in the short corner. Posts up against Iggy, and hook shot gets to go. Rolls around on the rim a little bit, but eventually falls.
Now, right there, that's a tough matchup, again, for Iggy. This is maybe a good chance to just let him go, keep playing one-on-one defense against Murphy, let him take his licks, try to get something going here.
So Matthews at the top of the key off a ball screen from John Teskey. Layup goes. Good take against Daniel Oturu. Did challenge him at the rim. Matthews gets the bucket to go. 43-23. Michigan leads it now. McBrayer on the left wing. Looking to get Murphy involved. Can't find him right now. Oturu on the left elbow drives in strong, and he'll get the layup to go. Really attacking Iggy right now. Minnesota's gotten a couple baskets to go.
Yeah, switch happened off ball there. Iggy ended up on Oturu, and they immediately went away from Murphy. It looks like that's the game plan for the Golden Gophers right now.
And now Xavier Simpson uses a ball screen from Teskey, finds the roll, and Teskey slams it home. It's Teskey time. So now Murphy to McBrayer on the right wing. McBrayer, top of the key, looks at Murphy now on the right wing, outside the three-point line, guarded by John Teskey. One dribble, he'll flick it to Coffey at the top of the key, way outside. Now Oturu on the left elbow against Iggy Brazdakis. He'll toss it out to McBrayer. Repost. Dupree will fire the three, and he got it. Kind of a streaky shooter, McBrayer is, but he did get that one to fall. That will be his 5th point of the night.
And right there, you could tell they're trying to get that post up or post touch into Oturu. Charles Matthews takes a step off Dupree, is able to make him pay.
So now Matthews on the left wing. Ignas Brazdakis across the block. He'll post up against Murphy. Get the roll. Looking for contact. Didn't get it. but he'll get the basket to count 47-28 now. Michigan leads it with 15:55 to go in the second half. Now Coffey, top of the key against Charles Matthews, looking to drive. Matthews does a great job on him. Coffey gets the roll on the turnaround. Minnesota really attacking the basket right now, and it's a 17-point game, but the Gophers have found some sort of success now on offense.
Yeah, and a lot of that has come because John Teskey's not really getting over to help contest shots there. He's been kind of sucked out of the paint, opening up things here for Minnesota. Just
surprising. Minnesota bigs, not really known for their outside shooting. Xavier Simpson now in the right slot. He'll throw back to Iggy on the right wing, who will fire a three way long, a lot of backboard, but John Teskey the rebound. Shot clock did reset. I think they're going to take a look at that because I'm not sure that really hit the rim.
Yeah, I think that hit the bottom of the backboard and shot right down into Teskey's arms. That should not have been a reset.
And that should take us into a immediate timeout as well, but I believe they will look at the clock here. Stools do come out, so we have a couple minutes to talk about it, but pace picked up a little bit here for Minnesota, at least for sure, in the first 5 minutes of the second half so far.
Yeah, and they have a definite plan of attack right now. It's to find whoever is being guarded by Iggy Brazdeikis and take it to him in the paint. And so far, Iggy has not received a whole lot of help. That has been a common theme for Michigan. They really do not like to send double teams. They've had to do it against certain guys like Ethan Happ. They really haven't been willing to try out that strategy here today, kind of leaving Iggy on an island. And he's having some struggles, but this is a chance right now. Michigan still has a comfortable lead. Maybe a good learning experience here for the freshman.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have his work cut out for him tomorrow, assuming that Michigan can hold on to a 17-point lead here against Michigan State. And he knows that from the two matchups previous. But let's take a look at the box score real fast. Take a look at some of the scoring. So Minnesota, similar to last night, 0 bench points at the moment. You got McBrayer with 5, Murphy 10, Coffey 6, Kalsher 3, and Oturu with 6 as well. On Michigan's end, Matthews 6, Jordan Poole 9, Simpson 12, Iggy 11, Teskey 5, and Isaiah Livers 4 points off the bench. So not really much bench scoring either way, but Michigan done enough to hold on to a 17-point lead here. 15-16 is what the clock reads. And fouls have been a lot lower so far as well. Last night against Iowa, Michigan picked up, I think it was 6 fouls in the first 5 minutes of the second half, no fouls so far. And that is something that we asked the guys in the locker room about as well.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know how much this is really the defensive players here for Michigan trying to avoid fouls as much as they've just got a friendly officiating crew not calling a whole lot of fouls here. In that first game, though, against Michigan State and Wisconsin that we saw earlier, kind of the same situation. Not a ton of fouls called. Normally, a lot of games for MSU, it's a high-paced game. There's a lot of offensive possessions. They take it to the rim a lot. They get a lot of fouls, but that one was a relatively low foul game. It's been a pleasure to see after those first couple of days here in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, there were a couple games where fouls kind of through the roof, and there have also been some games where the fouls have been quite imbalanced. Even that Minnesota-Purdue game last night, Minnesota down the stretch, you look up and realize that Purdue's got over 10 team fouls and Minnesota's at 3, and it's pretty impressive. I'd say most coaches probably don't even expect their teams to play that long as it was last night with only committing 3 fouls.
Yeah, it's maybe been a point of concern overnight here by the Big Ten officiating crews to kind of figure out the following situation. I got to say I'm a fan of what they've done so far here today, though.
So coming out of the immediate timeout, it's going to be 3 seconds on the shot clock for Michigan. Got to fire it up quick. Teskey throws a long pass to Livers, who does catch it. Flicks it to Simpson outside the 3-point line, and he got it at the end of the shot clock. What an acrobatic catch and pass by Isaiah Livers. And Simpson gets it off just in time, continuing his hot 3-point shooting. What a play for the Wolverines all around. Now the Gophers look to respond. Kalsher on the right wing, doesn't throw it inside to Murphy. It's going to be Omersa now around the free throw line. He'll hand it off to McBrayer. McBrayer will jump up from the elbow and airball it. Ugly shot from McBrayer. And Michigan will now have possession, up 20, 14:48 to go.
Right there, that's what we were talking about. Looked like McBrayer was going up with the sole intention of drawing a foul, refs were not inclined to give it to him. He just ends up wasting a possession for Minnesota.
So here we go, Xavier Simpson across half court, guarded by McBrayer. Will be content to take his time, dribble it around, handoff to Jordan Poole, now handoff to Livers, handoff back to Simpson. Simpson declines the ball screen with Pesky, flicks it out to Livers on the left wing. 3, got it! It's good. 53-30, Michigan leads it. Amir Coffey back across half court for the Gophers. Out to Kalsher, handoff to McBrayer, now top of the key. Kalsher on the right wing, uses the ball screen from Omersa. Kalsher feeds it inside to Omersa. Double teamed by Teskey and Matthews, loses control of the ball. Teskey with a steal, Xavier Simpson the other way, pushing it in transition. Feed delivers, got it and one! What a feed.
Oh my, what a back and forth there by the Wolverines. They have the one offensive possession. They get the 3 from Livers due to just absolutely spectacularly unselfish play. They come right down. Charles Matthews with the quick hands to get the steal. And right there, another unselfish play by Xavier Simpson to dish it off to Livers. And again here, Simpson looking like he's on his way to a double-double. He's already got the 15 points. Sitting at 8 assists now. Couldn't really be playing basketball any better than he has these last 2 days.
16 assists on 24 made field goals for the Wolverines. Isaiah Livers misses the free throw, but it is going to be a lane violation on Daniel Oturu, so he'll get another attempt. Not a call you see very often, but that was pretty obvious in my opinion.
It's one of those things where there seems to be an obvious one about every single time. So when it does get called, players get a little bit frustrated. Oturu definitely was right there, kind of just let the ball roll back to the official, made him bend down for that one.
Livers will get the second attempt, only goes down as 1 in the books, but second attempt to fall, and Colin Caston will now check in for John Teskey. So this is where we could see John Beilein start to use his bench, up by 26 points in the second half.
Yeah, Minnesota came out firing here to start the second half, kind of forced Beilein maybe to play the starters for a little bit longer than he was planning on, but now, sitting with a 26-point lead, you would expect more guys to get in here.
And so Omersa hands it off to Coffey. He'll roll to the rim, get the feedback from Coffey, use a pump fake, and he'll get fouled. So Jarvis Omersa, freshman from Orono, Minnesota, should be at the free throw line. Are they going to call it on the floor instead? They are. So it'll be a Minnesota inbounds pass as well. Did not jump on the pump fake. So McBrayer will inbound to Coffey, who will slice inside of the lane, get the layup, lefty to go. 56-32 now, Michigan leads it. Simpson now across half court, guarded by McBrayer. Simpson will hand it off to Iggy, way out by the timeline. Guarded by Coffey, Iggy looks to drive downhill. He'll toss it back to Castleton, who will back his way down against Daniel Oturu, and he'll get blocked very easily. Oturu a lot stronger than Colin Castleton. The Gophers go the other way. Amir Coffey loses control of the ball. Now Jordan Poole will flick it way out to Livers, and Livers gets the layup. Looks like he might have had a chance for a dunk, but great hustle on the other end by Jarvis Omersa. Layup will go though. 58-32 now, Michigan leads.
I thought the pass was going to be long there by Jordan Poole. Just put enough touch on that one. Almost seemed to have a little bit of backspin on it as well for Livers to get it.
And Kalsher misses a three-pointer badly once again. Isaiah Livers the rebound. Xavier Simpson the other way for the Wolverines. And he'll back things out. 22 seconds on the shot clock. Uses a screen from Colin Castleton. Back to the right wing to Iggy, who uses a screen, but it is a moving screen. Foul on Colin Castleton. Rough couple of possessions for him.
Well, that one might be on Iggy there. Castleton was coming out to set the screen. Iggy just took off a little bit too early, didn't wait for the screener to set.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment of the play, as Eli Brooks and John Teskey are going to check back in at the next dead ball. Right now, Amir Coffey crosses half court, guarded by Livers. He'll toss it to Omersa. Back to Coffey now, looking to drive, and he'll slice his way into the lane. He's starting to get to the rim. Another layup goes down for Amir Coffey. Starting to assert himself a lot more.
Well, with Teskey going to the scores table, it doesn't look like John Beilein agrees with my assessment.
So Xavier Simpson now dances around, eventually gets it out to Iggy. Now Livers on the left wing, Poole as well. Now has the ball. He'll use a screen from Colin Castleton to get downhill. Throw back to Iggy. And Iggy with a strong take to the rim. He'll answer against Coffee with a layup of his own.
Well, if you're not able to stop a guy on one end, you got to be able to come back down and give those 2 points right back. Iggy did just that.
And now a wild pass from Amir Coffee. Good job on the off-ball defense by Jordan Poole denying Gabe Kalsher. Pass goes out of bounds, and the Gophers are frustrated. Not a lot of energy on that end. 60-34. Michigan leads this with 11:44 to go in this ballgame.
Well, maybe everyone's just taking this media timeout as an opportunity to go to the concession stands, but this is almost looking like a mass exodus here again, about halfway into the second half for the second day in a row.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the crowd is like tomorrow. So the way that the Big Ten tournament and most conference tournaments work is that you buy tickets by session, and for most of the rounds, the session covers usually 2 games. There's a morning and an afternoon session, but once you get down to the semifinal round, then there is only 1 session. So there's 4 teams that buy tickets for 1 session. So the Michigan State fans and the Wisconsin fans that were here this morning, a lot of them have left quite a few empty seats here. And there is a fair amount of Michigan fans, but as we mentioned, there are not very many Minnesota fans at all. And you're right, that has kind of left the United Center here empty. I'll be interested to see what the crowd's like tomorrow.
Yeah, well, both fan bases have been coming in very strong here. MSU was definitely had the stronger crowd in that earlier game. MSU fans have been representing very well, but again, Michigan fans have done just as well here. I think so far it's going to be interesting to see if we have a 50-50 split, but I'm a little worried it might be a Spartan-heavy crowd.
I'm thinking it's going to be more of a Spartan-heavy crowd, judging by the 2 days that we've been here, but we'll see. And with that as well, I think it might be interesting to ask those scalpers outside what tickets we'll be going for tomorrow. I mean, that'll be round 3 of a very intense rivalry, and 2 very highly ranked teams competing for, at the very least, what's likely a number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, or NCAA tournament, rather.
It is indeed, and the way both teams have played so far here in the Big Ten tournament, I think they might both have a chance at a 2 seed here, depending on how that game goes tomorrow. If it comes right down to the wire, I guess I'm not sure how everything's shaping up across all the other conference tournaments here, but I think it's pretty well set. Neither is going to be a 1 seed, correct?
I don't see it. Maybe if Michigan State wins against Michigan a 3rd time, that could be enough. But I think it also has a lot to depend on some of these other conference championships that go on. I mean, we'll know based on what happens here in the coming evening.
Well, either way, it's going to be a heck of a matchup tomorrow, and granted, Michigan State ended up winning quite comfortably those first 2 games this season, but they were never blowouts. Michigan played to the end for the most part. This team, the way they're playing right now, looks leagues better than they did in those earlier matchups.
So out of the media timeout, Jordan Poole takes a pull-up jumper and he misses, but Eli Brooks chases down the tap out from John Teske all the way around the horn. Jordan Poole from the corner, 3 no good. Teske once again on the rebound. Isaiah Washington in the game for the Gophers, and he will commit the foul, just not quite big enough. The Jelly Fam sensation to compete with Teske for a rebound. Michigan just imposing their will here, 60-34 at this moment. Eli Brooks inbounding the ball. Livers comes around to the left corner. He'll dribble it out, and Jordan Poole will reset the offense from the logo for Michigan. 22 seconds on the shot clock. Eli Brooks now back to Poole. Uses the ball screen from Teske. Throw back to Livers, top of the key. He'll fire away for the 3. Got it good. Livers has been locked in as well. He seems to be a really efficient shooter, and I think there's a lot of people that almost want him to shoot the ball more.
Yeah, that's safe to say. I mean, he's a well over 40% three-point shooter, and there's been times during the season where he just looks hesitant to shoot the ball, even when he's wide open.
So Kalsher on a drive from the right wing, gets a little short. Murphy gets the rebound, though, and McBrayer out for the 3, too long. Eli Brooks skying for the rebound, fighting against his own teammate, John Teskey. Wolverines go the other way with it now. It's going to be Brooks guarded by Isaiah Washington. Uses a screen from Teskey. Back on the drive. He'll find a cutting Iggy, and Iggy will find a John Teskey on the opposite block. The layup rolls in and out. Tough miss for Teskey as the Gophers go the other way. Gabe Kalsher now left wing against Eli Brooks. Now Jordan Murphy outside the three-point line guarded by John Teskey. Big, strong take. Too strong, though. Iggy with a rebound. Wolverines headed the other way in transition. John Teskey cuts out to Brooks from the corner. Three-pointer too long. Livers keeps it alive, though. Dupree does get on the ground to get it. Washington now comes up with it going the other way. No numbers, but he'll fire a pull-up three. Too long, really fast. Couple of possessions here. Now Eli Brooks will slow things down on the rebound.
And Isaiah Livers keeping the ball alive there. Really a tightrope act right there. He had to stay on tiptoes with his left foot there to jump up, tip that ball back in bounds. I'm surprised he was able to keep that ball alive.
So Eli Brooks to Iggy, back to Teskey, all the way back to the left wing for Livers. Diagonal cut for Jordan Poole, up and under, out to Brooks in the right corner for three. No good, too short. Not enough Gatorade juice today for Eli Brooks. He'll guard McBrayer on the other end. Now Washington coming around, double teamed. Defensive miscommunication, and Jordan Murphy botches the dunk. He was open. The Gophers just not having anything go today.
And that's going to extend their scoring drought to 3.5 minutes now. That's a tough one to miss right there for Jordan Murphy.
Now Jordan Poole, top of the key, lobs it up to Teskey, tries to tip it in, but too off balance, too far inside. Gophers go the other way with it. Isaiah Washington against Jordan Poole. No call on the contact. Kalsher now right wing, in and out. Eli Brooks chases down the rebound. A lot of misses lately. Michigan leads at 63-34. 8:30 left in this game as Eli Brooks gets the offense going for the Wolverines. 19 seconds on the shot clock. John Teskey now to Iggy on the right wing. Iggy dribbles it out to Livers now. Jordan Poole on the left wing. Now Livers top of the key. He'll fire away for three. Got it good. Right over Daniel Oturu. Isaiah Livers has his spots, and he's knocking shots down.
He is, and that makes it 18 points on the day for him. 7 of 9 shooting, 3 of 5 from behind the long line, and he is looking very aggressive, trying to get his own shot right now off the ball. That's not something we've seen a lot out of Isaiah Livers this year.
Oturu on the other end, backing down Iggy, just too strong. Really talented freshman, got a bright future, Oturu. Surprised he wasn't on the all Big Ten freshman team, but that's beside the point at the moment. Eli Brooks now across half court. Jordan Poole standing next to the official, way outside of the three-point line. Content to dribble for a while. 15 seconds on shot clock. Uses the screen from Teskey. Isaiah Livers now left wing. Three-pointer. Got it good. He's on fire. Wow, Isaiah Livers.
My goodness, Isaiah Livers having himself a moment here.
69-36. Michigan leads it. Isaiah Livers certainly drawing an ovation right now from Michigan. Now Gabe Kalsher answers from the left corner, but the Gophers are still down 30. Gosh. Really thought we would get a good second half, didn't we, Nate?
It was shaping out to be a good one there, the first 10 minutes of the game or so.
Trying to make it exciting. All right. Eli Brooks now at the logo. Dribbles it out. 13 seconds on the shot clock right now. Uses the screen from Teskey, who'll continue to drive against Washington. Strong take for Eli Brooks. He gets it to go. Good minutes for Brooks running the offense. Certainly beneficial for Michigan to rest Xavier Simpson in this game. Dupree McBrayer now guarded by Iggy. Oturu now. Teskey sags off. Oturu can't hit that free throw line jumper, but goes short. Gophers definitely tired. You can see it in the way they're missing shots. As Eli Brooks crosses half court with 6:19 to go in the ball game. Michigan 71, Minnesota 39.
And Eli Brooks, said Livers was having a moment. I mean, Eli Brooks here maybe hasn't been a breakout star, but he has been a healthy contributor to this team.
Well, as you say that, Eli Brooks driving against Isaiah Washington, and he gets fouled on the floater and one. Maybe he did get his Gatorade chews before the game.
Before, during, early and often.
And
that's
after.
what I always say with the Gatorade chews.
Eli Brooks will take this moment Media timeout, 6:07 to go in the ball game. Michigan 73, Minnesota 37. Got a chance to talk to some of the guys in the locker room after the game last night, and Eli Brooks, we asked him how he was able to stay ready on the bench, and he said that he was eating a lot of Gatorade chews, keeping the energy going. Again, we'd also like to thank you for tuning in to WCBN sports coverage of Michigan basketball. This is 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Appreciate you tuning into our coverage of the Big Ten tournament. Also check out the website for some of the content we've been putting out, the other observations we've noticed here. And one other guy we talked to last night was David DeJulius. And DeJulius, who should be coming into the game shortly, he talked a lot about the early fouls that Michigan committed against Iowa, and then how they would have to guard the Minnesota athleticism. He said, do a great job showing chest, showing hands, and don't commit dumb fouls, something that they're constantly preached to, and they certainly have emphasized that here in this ballgame.
Sure looks like it. This is about as dominant of a performance as you can have. Now, margin is now sitting at 33 points. The Wolverines are leading here. It's incredible to see how dominant they are on both ends of the floor. I mean, we knew going into this season Michigan was going to be a tough defensive team. They really made that part of their identity last season. They established that early on this year. The offense has been lagging at certain points in the season, but now both sides of the ball, they're clicking on all cylinders, and you can tell what they preach there has been working. I don't know how many more ways to say it. This team is just playing perfectly.
Yeah, it's going to be a heck of a game tomorrow afternoon, and it'll be interesting to go down and talk to the guys again in the locker room. We talk to a lot of the guys at the end of the bench to bring you the full coverage of the team, but a lot of the Michigan State guys in the locker room, when asked about playing Michigan tomorrow, just said, we're excited to play for a championship game. Obviously, very well coached, I would say, on how to handle those kind of media questions. I expect Michigan to be pretty versed in a similar fashion. I don't think either team wants to give the other bulletin board material for a third matchup. Not that either team should need bulletin board material at this point, but it'll be interesting to talk about how they prepared for this game, what they're going to do in the coming hours, and what kind of adjustments they're going to make sure that the ball is skipping around and all that good stuff. So right now on the court for Michigan, DeJulius, Charles Matthews, Eli Brooks at the free throw line, and Brandon Johns and Austin Davis will fill the lane for the Wolverines. Eli Brooks gets the and one conversion. Michigan now leads at 74-39 with 6:05 remaining. Once again, you're listening to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, WCBN sports coverage of the Big Ten basketball tournament here in Chicago, Illinois. It's going to be Omersa now handing it off to Isaiah Washington. Back to Coffey on the right wings. Looking at Omersa, but no good angle to throw it. He'll have to reverse the ball to Isaiah Washington, guarded by David DeJulius, who declined a screen rather from Hurt, and it's going to be a blocking foul on DeJulius. DeJulius looked to jump the screen a little bit, had to foul Washington when he declined it. So Gophers will get the inbound opportunity from the sideline.
Get caught a little bit off balance there, but love to see the aggression out of the freshman here coming off the bench.
So now Gabe Kalsher right wing to Amir Coffey coming off a screen. A Coffey strong take into the lane, and that ball will hang on the rim for a while before dropping in. Amir Coffey has been aggressive here, but his 12 points just not enough at all. David DeJulius now brings the ball to court. Dribble handoff to Brandon Johns, who will reverse it to Davis and then to Matthews now on the left wing. Uses the screen from Davis. He'll take it inside, and the pass is too hot for Austin Davis. Out of bounds turnover. Going the other way for the Gophers.
Yeah, Lucas, as you were saying about Amir Coffey, and he was a guy who got, it's tough to say shut down, but he was neutralized, I'd rather say, by Charles Matthews in the first two matchups. Well, he's been stellar here today. I mean, 12 points, 6 of 10 shooting. Been by far the best performer for this team, but Michigan a little bit just too much for these Gophers.
Just not enough all around. Now Isaiah Washington going to feed it inside to Jarvis Omersa, who has been getting a lot of minutes today. He sealed strong against Austin Davis and finished the and one contact, so he'll be at the free throw line for the free throw opportunity. See if the freshman can put the ball in the basket. 74-43 right now. He banks in the free throw, so it's a 30-point game with 5:04 remaining in this one. David DeJulius now will bring the ball up the court for the Michigan Wolverines as we cross the 5-minute mark. 22 seconds on the shot clock. DeJulius off a screen from Davis. Throwback to Charles Matthews. Looks at Davis, but no angle. Back to DeJulius. DeJulius, stop and pop three, in and out. Brandon Johns tries to get the rebound. Omersa comes up with it, out to Coffey, who, I mean, I'd say needs to push it, but I don't know if he can score 30 points in 5 minutes. He will take it strong to the rim, though, and finish himself. 14th point of the night for Amir Coffey. DeJulius back the other way for the Wolverines. Will initiate with a handoff to Brandon Johns on the right wing. Charles Matthews now in the left slot. Uses a screen from Austin Davis. Tries to get downhill, Euro step, and he gets the roll on the rim, friendly roll. Charles Matthews gets the bucket to go down. That should be his 10th point of the afternoon. It might be his 8th point, rather. So Coffey now at the top of the key to Washington against DeJulius. Washington pump fakes, throws to Hurt in the corner. Omersa now all by himself outside of the three-point line. Davis way off. He set a screen and hand it off to Amir Coffey, who will drive. Hurt in the corner. Foot on the line for two. Did get it. Good shooter, Michael Hurt, but 1 foot on the line. 76-48 now, Michigan. 3:33 remaining. Adrian Nunez at the table ready to check into the next dead ball.
Not even a foot on the line. That was just maybe the toenail of his toes on the line. That's a tough one.
DeJulius lobs it into Austin Davis, who almost gets the finish, but does get his own rebound. He'll throw it back out to Brooks. DeJulius now guarded by Washington. Isaiah Washington really getting a lot of minutes here. It's DeJulius now back with the ball, guarded by Omersa on the switch. Davis is guarded by Isaiah Washington. If Michigan can get the ball to him, that's at least a foot mismatch. Matthew's not even looking at him.
Yeah, he's working down there. You gotta give it to the big fella.
And it's going to result in a DeJulius three against a contest from Jarvis Omersa. Not a good shot. And Amir Coffey will drive against Eli Brooks. Too strong, though. Austin Davis comes up with the rebound. We're under 3 minutes now in Chicago. David DeJulius cross half court.
One thing we haven't mentioned is Michigan takes a timeout here now.
Substitution timeout. Oh, well, it'll be the media timeout, so.
But yeah, the under 4 minute timeout, last one here, or last media timeout here for the game. And something we haven't talked a whole lot about there, that last Austin Davis rebound made the rebounding difference 33 Michigan, 23 Minnesota. And that is maybe been a little bit of a problem for Michigan, especially against Michigan State. Losing the rebounding battle. I mean, this is a Minnesota team with a lot of size. They're aggressive. They crash the glass. Michigan has been able to neutralize them and win that battle pretty soundly here today.
Yep, and Minnesota maybe came into the Big Ten tournament on the bubble a little bit, but I think that win against Purdue, also beating Penn State, who actually is, I think, a quadrant 1 team, should solidify things pretty well for the Gophers. I'd expect them to be safely in at this point, despite this ugly loss to Michigan. But, back to the box score. As you mentioned, the 33-23 rebound advantage. Michigan as well, 21 assists on 32 made field goals. Still got a little bit of time left, obviously, but we'll see. Only 7 personal fouls on the night for Michigan. Minnesota also just 10, so kind of impressive. Also, each team underneath 10 turnovers. Minnesota 8 turnovers and Michigan 6. So really what's killed Minnesota is the fact that they're shooting 18% from downtown, 44% from the field, and I mean, they just haven't gotten quite the same opportunities that they got last night against Purdue.
Yeah, it's been the same game plan here both days for Minnesota. They're trying to get into the paint and score that way. Michigan has simply not allowed them to get anything easy down low. Perimeter defenders have stayed in front of their man. They have been getting help over from the big man, John Teskey. And with Teskey patrolling the paint, there's never going to be anything easy.
And, another thing to mention here is that Minnesota did play that game against Penn State, which was a little bit of a tougher game. And then they played Purdue, which was a very tough game last night, before playing Michigan, who obviously is very good. But it just shows how hard it is to play even 3 games in 3 days and by the third day be any sort of effective You think Michigan did it 2 years ago where they played 4 games in 4 days and won all of their matchups, and they won a lot of them pretty convincingly. But that was a very difficult task for that team, and it makes me even think about the UConn team that won 5 Big East games in 5 days. I think it was 2011.
That was the Kemba team.
The Kemba Walker team that won 5 games in 5 days at the Big East tournament to get the automatic bid, and then they won all 6 of their NCAA tournament games en route to a national championship. It just shows how hard it is to do something even remotely close to what that UConn team did.
Yeah, I'm sure fatigue is a factor here today for Minnesota, but as you're saying, they were on the bubble before. They're sitting now, according to TeamRankings.com. I don't know what their authority is, but they're sitting at like a plus 90% chance of making the tournament. Will probably be around a 10 seed. Now, it's been 2 days in a row here. Michigan has absolutely embarrassed 2 solidly NCAA tournament teams.
Yep, and now C.J. Baird from the right wing, all too long. He wants one bad here in Chicago, 0 for 3 so far, as the 4 freshmen and C.J. Baird are in right now for the Wolverines. They'll probably finish it out unless we see Luke Wilson come in. Hurt, no good from the left wing for the Gophers. DeJulius, the rebound back the other way. Toss it to Nunez from the left wing. Nunez will jab step once, go too long on the three-pointer. Brandon Johns does sky for the rebound over Hurt. Trying to get everybody an opportunity to score, I guess. DeJulius now with the ball. He'll throw back to Brandon Johns, who sees Caston and seal it inside, and Isaiah Washington was switched onto him. He'll get called for the holding foul. 1:43 remaining now in the ball game, and somehow we'll be going to another timeout.
Timeout on the court. I didn't hear which team may have been Beeline there.
Well, unless so Michigan called the timeout that last one. Maybe that was just a team timeout rather than the media timeout.
Okay. Yeah, it must be. But interesting to see here when they come out with the all-freshman lineup plus Baird. Seeing Brandon Johns play alongside Castleton. Granted, we've only seen it here in garbage time. The last couple of minutes, there's not a whole lot to play for, but the front court of Brandon Johns and Colin Castleton looks like a very good fit, or at least Brandon Johns looks a lot more comfortable at the 4. He's been asked to play the 5 here for Michigan because they do not have a lot of front court depth, and he just didn't look ready to play that position, and you can see when he's out here on the floor, he looks like a little bit like DJ Wilson, I would say. He'd rather play that kind of role based on this small sample size. He looks more comfortable out on the perimeter. He has a nice jump shot, maybe a little undersized to play the 5. That might be his role on the team, a DJ Wilson type.
No, I agree with that. I think that he's not big enough or strong enough to play the 5 position, and I don't think that should be the future fit for him, really, unless they want to go small for a couple minutes. But he's not your center. He would just not last against a guy like Caleb Wesson or, you think back a couple years like Isaac Haas or Caleb Swan, right? Like a traditional Big Ten center, even Nick Ward, just wouldn't be the right matchup. So yeah, that's probably not the right positional fit, but certainly looks a lot more fluid as a 4.
And brings a lot of size at the 4. Maybe undersized at the 5. That could be a pretty big, pretty tough front court if you have John Teskey with Brandon Johns beside him. Might be something to look forward to next year.
Well, there's a lot of youth on this Michigan team. Only one senior was honored at senior day, and technically speaking, he wasn't, eligibility-wise at least, an actual senior. Academically, yes, but Charles Matthews, the only player honored as a senior player on senior night. We obviously have to wait and see what he decides to do in his future, but all signs seem to point to him heading to the NBA. So this is a Michigan team that, could get basically everybody back in theory. You obviously have to wait to see guys like Iggy and Jordan Poole, what they want to do, but they got all these guys coming back. They've got some outstanding recruits coming in, especially Jalen Wilson, a guy from Denton Guyer around the Dallas area in Texas. A guy can really play basketball at a high level. So, a lot of things looking upward for Michigan as Luke Wilson checks in for C.J. Baird, so the freshmen remain along with Luke. And we'll see how the Wolverines finish out the last 1 minute 43. Michigan leading the Minnesota Golden Gophers 76-48 here in Chicago, the semifinal round. As DeJulius will inbound the ball to Nunez in the corner. Nunez for three, and just a little bit left on the miss. Isaiah Washington got a lot of minutes in the second half. I think they're trying to really evaluate him for the future. So Washington guarded by DeJulius. Double teamed, and he'll throw it up to Omersa, who cannot finish the alley-oop. That would have been a highlight for him, but way too strong on the throwdown. Colin Castleton now posting up. Michael Hurt, he'll back him down. Try to get the cross-court pass. It'll get tipped and stolen away for the Gophers. Now it's going to be number 31, Brock Stoll, on the left wing for the Gophers. Now Michael Hurt has it, driving against Nunez. Hurt will get some step-throughs. He'll get his own rebound. Missed it, but get fouled. Michael Hurt, the junior guard from Rochester, Minnesota. Also in the game is Brady Rudrud from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Very little used player for the Gophers, number 10.
And Hurt out there showing off some post moves, almost looking like another former Golden Gopher, Kevin McHale out there. The fancy footwork.
So Hurt thought of as a good shooter, but he misses the first free throw. We'll get another attempt. So Hurt on the second attempt will get it to go. 76-49 now, Michigan, 55 seconds remaining. DeJulius will run the offense once again. Out to Wilson on the right wing. Wilson will use the screen from Castleton. Matched up against Rudrud. And now Brandon Johns on the right wing. Back to Luke Wilson. He'll pump fake. He'll step through and get the shot. No good, too long. Luke Wilson missing his first shot attempt of the Big Ten tournament. Now Brady will drive by him, get stuffed, pinned against the backboard by Brandon Johns. Johns now the other way. He'll slow things down and kick it to DeJulius. Michigan has no need to take a final shot. And with 18 seconds left, DeJulius will stand and hold the ball. Minnesota does enough to basically lock up a Big Ten tournament or an NCAA tournament bid based off their performance here in Chicago. Michigan, two dominant wins against Iowa and now Minnesota. And we'll be seeing championship basketball tomorrow. Third matchup against the Michigan State Spartans. The Michigan Wolverines will be going for their third consecutive Big Ten tournament title as well. Also of note, Michigan has now won 10 straight Big Ten tournament games. That is a Big Ten record, building on the record they set last night. Can't say enough about the performances that Michigan has strung here together, just absolutely dominant. And the stat that we've been focusing on, 21 assists, finish up 32 made shots. Michigan shoots 51% from the floor in the win. Also 10 made threes. So Michigan's passing the ball well, they're shooting the ball well, and that's a good combination. It's going to be a heck of a game tomorrow against Michigan State Spartans.
The shooting, the ball movement have both been well, but also got to highlight the ability to not draw fouls has been key for them here these first couple of games, and we know how much they struggled in that regard against Michigan State. Michigan State, a team that really pushes the envelope. They get to the line a lot for good reason. They get to the rim, they draw that kind of contact, but maybe some questionable calls in the Spartans' favor in some of these games that Michigan's played against them. It's going to be interesting to see if the refs are going to come out in the form that they were the first couple of days here in Chicago. We might have a long slog of a game. If they're anything like they were today, it's going to be a high-paced, fast, exciting game tomorrow.
Well, it will be very interesting to see what happens here on a neutral court in that third matchup. I mean, both teams are going to care an awfully lot about that matchup for a whole lot of reasons, and you know, both teams are also basically fully healthy. You know, you got Nick Ward back for the Spartans. Charles Matthews good to go for the Michigan Wolverines, and I mean that in itself is a development here. We'll have full rosters for both games. Both teams have looked good, and you know, I think the last thing we'll talk about here is that Michigan can't have a scoring drought like they did in each of the games against the Michigan State Spartans. They've got to be consistent throughout, both offensively and defensively. Cannot let a good start get them too high, and they cannot avoid to go on a drought like they have as a result of playing one-on-one hero ball.
Yeah, to go back to what I was saying about the refs, I know a lot of people did want to blame that, or blame's a strong word. They thought a big reason for that, and I would agree that Iggy Brosdakis getting in foul trouble in that game in East Lansing made that scoring drought worse. I mean, Iggy was on fire. He was playing well. To not have your best scorer out there is not what you want to see when you're having trouble scoring. But the fact of the matter is, if you're that reliant on a single guy to get buckets, you're not going to win a basketball game. And that is how Michigan was playing for a lot of that, for a lot of the regular season, especially there at the end. And they came out here, played like a team. I mean, if they go out, they share the ball, everyone's getting in on the action. They shouldn't have to worry about a scoring drought like that, or any officiating concerns, anything like that, if they keep playing the way they're playing.
Yep. And with that said, Michigan got to rebound the ball, got to share the ball, and I mean, we'll see what happens tomorrow, but we'll be calling championship basketball here in Chicago, Illinois at the Big Ten Tournament. Thank you for tuning in to WCBN Sports coverage. Also, check out the website for some content that we're able to get out tonight. That said, for Daniel Thompson, Nick Hornberg, as well as Nate Sorensen, my name is Lucas Vargas. Thank you again. Good night, and go Blue.